6 months into our whirlwind marriage and I'd practically forgotten what my husband even looked like. In front of my best friend I was busy polishing my independent woman persona. What on earth do I need a man for? Before the words finished leaving my mouth, a suit-clad, unfairly gorgeous man stepped inside, half smiling straight at me. "So I'm useless, am I?" he said. Later, I accidentally opened the locked drawer in his home study and found a thick sketchbook, every page a charcoal portrait of me back in college. That was the moment I realized, this lightning bolt romance had never been coincidence, it had been his carefully engineered destiny. But before we go any further, please subscribe and tell us in the comments where you're tuning in from. After Lucy's big brother Lucas and I signed the marriage license, I basically moved in with my bestie for a dream life of leisure. We nested in the penthouse apartment he'd bought outright, waited on by Ward, the housekeeper he paid a fortune. Each morning I woke in a king-size bed over 6 feet wide, my only dilemma which takeout to order that day. Her brother, my legal husband, had acted like he was writing his will on our wedding day, handing over car keys, the deed, and bank cards in one breath, then dusting off his sleeves and jetting overseas for a make-or-break project. That break lasted 6 straight months. Half a year is long enough to delete the word married from your mental hard drive. Husband? What husband? Just a piece of paper, a signature, an ATM that refilled itself every month. Lucy and I lived like the ultimate modern tapeworms in this giant house, absolute bliss. That afternoon, burrito wrapped in a throw, I was gaming on the couch when Lucy's head peeked in, twisting with guilt. "Lily, I brought a friend home." I didn't even look away from the bloodbath on my phone. "So bring him in." Ward laid out afternoon tea, "Tell him to help himself." Not that kind of friend," she murmured, shy. My hand slipped, my avatar took a headshot. Crap. I hurled the phone down and finally glanced over. Behind Lucy stood a tall, slender guy in black-rimmed glasses, bookish and twitchy, eyes darting everywhere, landing on me with panic. I understood instantly. Straightening, I swept him from head to toe, and a surge of anger flared. Lucy and I have been welded at the hip since college, I know every screw loose in her head. Love turns her brain into cotton candy every time she falls, she ends up sobbing in my lap while I mop up the mess. She'd finally stayed single for 6 blissful months, and now she wanted to re-offend. I didn't spare the guy a civil look, I opened fire on Lucy. "What the hell, Lucy? Did everything I told you evaporate? Why date? Men are useless, are the games boring, or is our cushy life too perfect?" My voice ricocheted off the living room walls. The man froze, crimson with embarrassment. Lucy's face collapsed, she tugged his sleeve, mouth twitching, but no words came. Her eyes met mine, hurt, helpless, and, was that fear? Scared of what, me eating him alive? "Look. Lily, we'll go," she stammered, voice shaking, and dragged him out almost at a run. "Weird," I muttered, uneasy. Had I been too harsh? Still, it was for her own good. I'd just retrieved my phone for another round when the light dimmed, though it had been bright noon a minute ago. A tall shadow fell across me, laced with a cool, unfamiliar cologne. Every hair on me stood up. Ward had left for the day, Lucy was gone, the house should be empty. "Who? How?" I shot off the sofa, but a large hand snapped around my wrist, warm, unyielding, all authority. Terror lurched in my throat, a scream clogged there as I was yanked flush into a granite chest. "Let go. Who are you?" I flailed, fists and feet swinging. "Let go." A low chuckle vibrated over my head, half amused. 6 months, and you've grown braver, Lily." That voice, familiar. My struggle froze, I tilted my neck inch by inch. In the half-light, a face ridiculously perfect swam into view, deep eyes, knife-bridge nose, sculpted lips older, icier than the photo I remembered. My brain detonated. Lucas. My bargain bin husband who existed only in rumors? Wasn't he supposed to be slaving away on some foreign construction site? I stuttered. He smiled wider, delighted by my goldfish impression. "Don't recognize me? You praised my ID photo the day we signed the license. I'd only been polite. Who knew the live version would crush the ad by 100-fold? Wait, focus. You're back early, thought the project would take ages? I squeaked. It wrapped ahead of schedule. He said it like he'd just popped out for milk. Not happy to see me. Of course not. I dropped my gaze. Happy. My rent-free paradise just ended. Good. Still clamping my wrist, he ran a leisurely scan over me, eyes anchoring on my face. I was outside earlier, heard every word, he murmured. Men are useless, wasn't it? Crap, death row vibes. I manufactured a laugh. Joke between friends, don't take it seriously. A joke. A brow arched. Suddenly his free arm scooped my waist and hefting me bridal style. Ah. I squealed, locking my arms around his neck. The world spun. We were in the master suite, his, technically, never before invaded by male presence. He dumped me ungently onto the cloud-soft mattress, caging me with arms on either side. No lights, only dusk leaking through curtains, sketching the outline of broad shoulders inches above me. The scent of him, the heat of his breath, my heart jackhammered. What are you doing? I squeaked. He dipped until his lips grazed my ear. 6 months gone and you forget your husband? My mistake. A shiver corkscrewed down my neck. Let me jog your memory, personally, and show you exactly how useless men can be. System crashed. I lay petrified, eyes saucers, expecting one of those forceful CEO tropes. Instead, he hovered, eyes glinting like a net tightening, studying me until squirming felt pointless. Stop staring. I whispered. He laughed softly. I'm admiring my wife. Objection. Wife. The word liquefied the air. We agreed, paper marriage, I reminded him desperately. I did say that, he conceded. My hopes lifted, then he added, I never said we couldn't still fulfill certain conjugal duties. Dirty loophole. Before I could curse, he brushed noses and planted the gentlest kiss on my forehead, featherlight, heart-stopping, then rolled away. He flicked on the bedside lamp. Warm amber dissolved the tension. Standing, he adjusted his cuffs, watching me flounder like a cat with a half-dead mouse. I finally located my missing slipper 3 meters off. He'd played me, rattled me, declared sovereignty, yet stopped short of actual offense. Pro-level intimidation. I'll shower, my luggage should be here, he said, swaggering toward the walk-in closet, my turf for 6 months, grabbing pajamas as if he'd never left. Moments later, water gurgled behind the bathroom door. It hit me, I was the intruder, this had always been his domain. I stomped the bed frame in frustration, ouch, toe throbbing. No way would I dance to his baton. I needed house rules, bedroom mine, guest room his, our lives separate. Clause 3 still fermenting, the lock clicked. Lucas emerged wearing only a towel low on carved hips, hair dripping rivers over 8-pack scenery. Verbal circuitry fried. Plans, clauses, protests, gone. Only floating abs. Need something? He rubbed hair, openly amused by my ogle. Nope. I barked, fleeing. In the kitchen I chugged ice water, heart sprinting. Get a grip, Lily. His a paper tiger waving optical candy, resist. He reappeared in cozy grey sweats, half-asleep lion reduced to domestic cat until he tapped my burning cheek. You're flushed. Fever. Static jumped from his fingers. I leapt back. Just hot, really hot. His smirk said he could catalogue every hormone. He phoned Ward, make Madam's favourites. Madam again. When he patted the sofa for me to sit, I obeyed but hugged the far cushion. He flicked on boring financial news, engrossed, while I fidgeted in a space that now felt rented from him. Sneaking a glance, I found his profile cut from granite. He caught me, and I snapped back to the screen. Lily. Yeah. How were the 6 months? Great 8, slept, binged, repeat. Shows, he drawled. Your cheeks upgraded to deluxe edition. What? I clapped my face, had I ballooned? You. I was fuming, what woman can stand being called fat? Especially by a gorgeous guy. Kinda cute, though, he added, unhurried. The anger I'd been about to unleash was doused in an instant by those 2 words. Was this, a slap followed by a kiss? The man was dangerous. I felt like a little mouse he could twirl between his fingers, every one of my emotions calibrated by him. The feeling infuriated me, and yet, damn it, it was also a little addictive. Ward worked fast. In under an hour a full spread sat on the table. 4 dishes plus soup, every one of them my favorites: sweet and sour ribs, cola chicken wings, garlic butter shrimp over vermicelli, and garlicky sautéed broccoli. Staring at the spread, I felt a pang of guilt. How did Ward know what I loved? I usually ordered takeout or grabbed something quick with Lucy. I sneaked a glance at Lucas across from me. He was calmly ladling soup into a bowl and setting it in front of me. Soup first, warm your stomach. The gesture was so natural you'd think we'd lived together for years. My guilt meter spiked. How did Ward know I like these? I couldn't help asking. Lucas lifted his eyes, looking as if the answer were obvious. I told her. You. I blinked. How would you know? We'd met once before signing the license, in the lawyer's office for all of half an hour. I certainly hadn't mentioned food preferences. Lucy told me, he said casually. Lucy. Alarm bells blared in my skull. Traitor. She'd sold me out for her brother. I grabbed my phone to bombard her with WhatsApp, demanding to know what other classified intel she'd leaked. No phones at dinner, Lucas said quietly, no shout, just absolute authority. My hand twitched and I set the phone down. Fine, revenge can wait. I poured my wounded pride into my appetite and attacked the food. Honestly, Ward's cooking beat every takeout place on my speed dial. Between bites I schemed. Lucas had flown home out of nowhere and was suddenly acting possessive. What was his game? Our marriage was supposed to be pure business. 6 months ago I'd broken up with my ex-boyfriend of 3 years and been kicked out by our landlord, suitcase in hand. Lucy took me in. Then she whispered that her brother needed a wife to fend off family nagging and calm shareholders, while I needed stable housing and a marriage shield against my ex-win-win, we'd said. Lucas's terms were simple: sign the license, announce the marriage, he'd provide the penthouse and an allowance. No interference, he'd do his thing, I'd do mine. A pie falling from heaven, so I'd signed without giving him a good look. Now he was preparing for full-scale invasion, not peaceful coexistence. What's on your mind? Your food's getting cold. His voice yanked me back. I realized I'd been gnawing the same wing for minutes. Nothing, I mumbled and finished the wing. After dinner Lucas cleared the table and carried dishes to the kitchen. Watching his tall, reliable frame move through the kitchen felt safe. I shook the thought away. Lily, wake up. This is a honeyed trap. While he washed up, I slipped into my room, locked the door, and launched the long-distance trial of Lucy. Me, Lucy. Show yourself. Me. Confess and be forgiven. How much did you tell your brother? Me. He knows I love cola wings. Did you hand over my birth chart too? No reply. 5 minutes of silence. I called. It rang forever before she answered, voice echoing like she was hiding in a bathroom. Hey. Lily. You answered. I exploded. Did you know your brother was coming back? I didn't mean to hide it. He told me not to ruin the surprise. Surprise? More like heart attack. I laughed in disbelief. And every like and dislike, did you file a full report? Silence. Guilty as charged. I nearly crushed the phone. 8 years of sisterhood, sold for 30 pieces of silver. Don't be mad, she pleaded. His, really great. And his sincere. Sincere. We're business partners, remember? No. You've got it wrong. Her voice spiked. He's had a secret crush on you forever. I froze. What? I'm saying Lucas has liked you since college. She took a breath. Remember the debate sophomore year? He came to watch and fell for you then. My mind went blank. Sophomore year? Ancient history I'd forgotten entirely. Lucas liked me? Impossible. Stop joking. I refused to believe it. If he liked me, why wait till now? He went abroad for grad school, she whispered. He didn't want to hold you back. When he returned you were dating someone, so, he waited. This marriage isn't business, it's his long-planned ambush. Long-planned. The phrase detonated in my skull. So this wasn't a simple transaction, it was a carefully woven net. Before I could speak, a male voice, afternoon glasses guy, floated over. Lucy, Who you talking to? And no one, she panicked. Gotta go, Lily. If my brother bullies you, tattle and I'll punch him. Click. I stood frozen, phone in hand, mind a tornado. Lucas, secret crush? Too much, can't compute. I tried to recall college, but he'd only been a vague mention. Lucy's brilliant brother, scholarship legend, family pride. Never linked to me. Just then my bedroom handle turned. I'd locked it. From the hall came Lucas's amused voice. Lily, what are you doing? Need me to pick the lock? Right, he owned every key. I crept over and opened the door. He leaned on the jamb, grinning. Telling on me to Lucy? Blood rushed to my cheeks. He couldn't have heard, could he? You eavesdropped. I bluffed. I happened to pass by and caught the phrase long planned. He arched a brow, teasing. Care to explain my evil scheme? I turned crimson, caught red-handed. I wanted to vanish through the floor. He stepped closer, warmth brushing my forehead. Cat got your tongue. I've nothing to say. I stiffened. Perfect, he chuckled, pinching my cheek as if he couldn't help himself. Then let's discuss tonight's sleeping arrangements. His gaze slid to the king-size bed. The air solidified. How to sleep? Obvious, apart. There are 3 spare rooms. Take a guest room, I declared. This penthouse had 4 bedrooms, master, study, 2 guests. Lucy had vacated hers. He laughed. Guest room? Lily, we're legally wed. Newlyweds don't sleep in separate rooms. We've been licensed 6 months, hardly newlyweds. Oh, so we're overdue for a wedding night? His eyes glinted wickedly. I'd shot myself in the foot. Reason clearly wouldn't work, so I tried misdirection. I'm a terrible sleeper, I fabricated. I snore, grind my teeth, talk, even punch and kick. You'll get no rest. I sounded so sincere I almost believed me. Instead of fleeing, he looked intrigued. Really? I'm a light sleeper, a little noise actually helps. And as for thrashing, his voice dropped to a whisper at my ear. No worries, I'm strong enough to hold you still. Kaboom, my face combusted. How could he spout such shameless lines without flinching? Speechless, I watched him stroll to the far side, flip the covers back, stretch his long legs and pat the empty half. Come to bed. As though we'd shared this mattress for years. I hovered, half wood, half ice. Sleep with him? Ridiculous. I'm no blushing virgin, but sharing a bed with a husband I've met twice. Way outside the syllabus. I'm taking a guest room. I spun toward the door. Stop. His voice wasn't loud, but it carried absolute command. I froze. Lily, he sighed, sitting up. I just flew 15 hours, I'm jet-lagged and tired. No energy for hide and seek. 2 options, he said. 1, you walk over here yourself. 2, I carry you. He added, frankly, I prefer option 2. Barefaced threat. I trembled with rage. This domineering, unreasonable jerk. I glared. He merely rested against the headboard, arms folded, waiting. I knew he meant it. Earlier he'd hauled me from sofa to bed like a pillow. Carrying me from door to mattress would be effortless, and the humiliation would be all mine. I chewed my lip, weighing dignity against, well, a hot guy. Fine, when I'd seen those 8-pack abs my defenses had already cracked. He'd offered a step. Refusing would be ungrateful. Okay, just sleep, right? Big bed, draw a border, no trespassing. I shuffled to the mattress, lifted a corner of the quilt, and lay ramrod straight at the very edge, trying to merge with the wall. Lucas chuckled at my panic. Afraid I'll eat you? Who's afraid? I shot back. I like the edge. He didn't argue, just clicked off the bedside lamp, plunging the room into darkness. Darkness magnifies senses. I heard each calm breath, felt radiant heat, smelled the faint scent of his shower gel. My heart pounded like a drum. Close your eyes, sleep, I ordered myself. Knock out and you'll feel nothing. But the harder I tried, the wider awake I was. Lucas's breathing soon lengthened, he'd drifted off. I snuck one eye open. In the sliver of moonlight his profile looked softer, innocent almost. Seriously gorgeous. Secret crush? Real or hoax? As I drifted in speculation, he shifted. I slammed my eyes shut and held breath. A warm palm slid over my waist. I went rigid. What, was he awake? No further move, he simply tugged me closer, tucked my head under his chin, and murmured drowsily, "Stop squirming, sleep." Low, gravelly, almost a dream talk. Enveloped in furnace warmth, my muscles unclamped without permission. Tucked against him, hearing his steady heartbeat, my eyelids drooped. This actually feels nice. The thought startled me. Lily, where's your integrity? Your border? Now you're snuggled in his arms. I tried wriggling free, he clamped tighter, leg thrown over mine, locking me in. Behave. He mumbled, petting my hair. Me, escape impossible. Fine, consider him a heated body pillow. I surrendered, burrowing into the warmth. These 6 months alone in this huge bed, I'd sometimes felt emptiness at night. Now a living, breathing presence beside me didn't feel bad at all. Consciousness blurred, and just before I slipped under, I caught a faint whisper at my ear, light as wind. He said, "Finally. I'm holding you." The next morning, I woke to the smell of food. Sunlight slipped through the crack in the curtains and scattered mottled shadows across the rug. I pried my sleepy eyes open, and the first thing I saw was a gorgeous face, magnified and inches away. Lucas lay beside me, turned on his side, one arm draped across my waist. We were impossibly close, my nose practically grazed his jaw. I could count every dark lash as it cast a tiny fan of shadow in the morning light. I could follow the straight, proud line of his nose to the soft-looking lips that felt unfairly perfect on a man. Asleep, he lost all the sharp aggression he wore during the day. He looked gentle, almost vulnerable, like a quiet prince out of a painting. My heart, traitor that it is, skipped a beat. Last night's drowsy murmur floated back, "Finally I'm holding you, star." Heat flooded my cheeks like someone had cranked the thermostat. This man. I was still staring when his lashes fluttered and his eyes drifted open. They were hazy with sleep, unfocused, almost innocent, none of their usual blade-like edge. Our gazes locked. The air froze. My brain short-circuited, every drop of blood sprinted to my head. I'd been caught. Ogling him while he slept was social death in high definition. "Morning," he rasped, voice gravelly and low, the oral equivalent of a cello string drawn across my ear. "Morning," I stammered, ready to tunnel straight through the mattress. He laughed softly at my mortification, the vibration rolling through the chest pressed to mine. Instead of letting go, he tugged me closer, chin brushing the crown of my head. "Sleep well?" Could I say no? Dared I say no? I gave a stiff nod. Pretty much. Truth was, I'd slept like the dead. Curled against him, warm and safe, no dreams, number 3 a.m. staring contests with the ceiling, the best night I'd had in half a year. "Good," he murmured, satisfied, then finally released me and sat up. Morning light sculpted the broad slope of his shoulders and the hard taper of his back as he stretched and gave a contented sigh. I seized the chance to scoot toward the edge and create a neutral buffer zone. He padded barefoot across the carpet toward the walk-in closet. "Get up, I made breakfast sandwiches." His voice floated back through the half-open door. My brain blue-screened. He cooked. Wasn't this the legendary CEO who couldn't boil water without an assistant? By the time I dragged myself through the shower and into the hall, Lucas was already at the dining table, immaculate in a charcoal suit, every dark hair in place, radiating corner office power. 2 plated sandwiches sat opposite each other, golden toast, fluffy egg, crisp bacon, bright lettuce, and 2 steaming mugs of milk. He glanced up from the file in his hand and smiled. "Sit before it gets cold." I took a bite and almost dropped my manners. The toast was crunchy outside, cloud soft inside, the bacon hit that exact salty smoky sweet spot, the egg yolk still obediently runny. Better than the Instagram-famous deli under my old apartment. He watched, expectant. "Not bad," I mumbled, mouth full. No way I'd confess a sandwich just blew my mind. Only not bad. One dark brow lifted. I swallowed. "Really good, okay?" That earned me a slow, pleased grin before he returned to his papers. I chewed and studied him. A man in work mode is dangerous, a man who looks like Lucas, doubly so. He frowned slightly at a clause, finger tapping the page, entire posture radiating controlled authority. Maybe he wasn't just an automated teller machine in a suit. Maybe he wasn't all cold commands and cocky smirks. He cooked, he cared, he focused like this was the only file in the world. And according to rumor, he'd been nursing a secret crush on me. Ripples spread across the lake of my composure. Something on my face? He asked without looking up. No. I dropped my gaze to the sandwich like it required advanced calculus. He chuckled and let it slide. When we finished, he stacked the plates. I've got it, I offered, sheepish. Relax. He waved me off. Plans today? Me. I blinked. Nothing, just home. Freelance illustrator life, pajamas, deadlines, cat references. Perfect. He loaded the dishwasher. I'll be at the office, then a dinner thing might run late. You good here alone? He was, reporting his schedule. Color me flattered. Sure, do your thing. He nodded, headed for the entry, and I followed on autopilot. I watched him slide into polished Oxford shoes, shrug on his jacket. When he turned, he smoothed my crooked pajama collar, knuckles skimming my collarbone. Static sparked, I stepped back. His eyes held galaxies I couldn't read. Wait for me, he said. Not an order, an invitation. I nodded like a bobblehead. He brushed an exit kiss across my forehead, feather soft. Later. The door clicked shut, the apartment exhaled into silence. I pressed fingers to the spot his lips had touched. Heartbeat, frantic. What's his endgame? If Lucy could be believed years of secret crush, then this was the siege phase. Batter the walls with dominance, then seep through the cracks with kindness. Diabolically effective. I collapsed on the sofa, mind a pinball machine. I pulled up Lucy's message, * my brother's been into you forever star. Stared until the words blurred. I'm dense. My ex-boyfriend had to chase me for a year before I noticed he was interested. Lucas is playing 4D chess and I'm still reading the rules. I yanked my hands through my hair. Enough. Bring it on. I opened the laptop. Blank canvas. Normally the cursor and I are old friends. Today every line turned into Lucas, pinning me to the mattress, stepping out of the shower in only a towel, sipping coffee in that suit, kissing my forehead like I was delicate crystal. I face-planted into the cushion and screamed. Lily, you're a lost cause. 24 hours and he's colonized your brain. Ping, a text. Lucas, * what do you want for lunch? Ward can swing by **. My heart did that stupid flutter again. This is what being someone's wife feels like. Not bad. Not bad at all. The next several days settled into a surreal routine. He left before dawn, returned after midnight, yet every sunrise came with breakfast waiting under a napkin, and every moon arrived with him slipping into bed, respectful except for the occasional scoop and cuddle. We were an old married couple, cozy, domestic, threaded with electric maybe. No more taunts about proving what a man can do, just silent thoroughness. He stocked my favorite tea, liked my illustration posts, introduced me to clients, rescued socks from under the couch. A silent, 6'2" house elf folding my life into perfect squares. Ice melts drop by drop. I began waking up excited to find him beside me. I began missing him when he was late. I began, God help me, falling. One evening he came home early. I was cross-legged on the rug sketching. He knelt behind me, chin on my shoulder. What's that? A cat. Doesn't look like one. Where's the floor, Picasso? The eyes, he murmured. They've got stars, too shiny. He brushed my ear, same as yours. My cheeks combusted. Before I recovered, he delivered the kill shot. Lily, come to Stirling on Saturday. Family dinner. Stirling, the ancestral nest. My stomach dropped. We said paper marriage. No parents. That had been my hard line, signatures, no small talk. He turned me, palms firm on my shoulders. We're legal. They'll love you. Just stick to the script. Love at first sight, long chase, happy ending. A blush crept up my neck. Love at first sight, true. Long chase, also, true. So technically not lying? Mom's friendly, Dad's bark is worse than his bite, and Grandpa's harmless if you let him win, he coaxed. Looking into steady hazel eyes, my resistance buckled. Fine, I whispered. Reward, a fast, bright kiss square on the lips, first time, fireworks, gone before I could gasp. Payment in advance, he teased. Saturday arrived like a firing squad. Lucas hauled me from bed at dawn, first impressions wait for no woman, then played stylist at my vanity. Too short, too dark, too cute, his veto pile grew. He settled on a dove-white midi dress, simple, demure, impossible to hate. He painted my face with the same precision he applied to million-dollar contracts. In the mirror, a softer version of me blinked back. Lucas's reflection hovered, warm with pride. Beautiful. Cars idled in the gated villa cul-de-sac, each mansion older than most countries. The moment the Bentley stopped, a graceful woman stepped out. Lucas, sweetheart, Mom. He hugged her. Eleanor's gaze found me. And Lily. Come here, darling. No inspection, just instant, fierce affection. Call me Mom already. You're even prettier than your photos. Inside, Charles lowered his newspaper and gave me a polite nod. Theodore, family patriarch, skewered me with eagle eyes. Lucas slid between us. Grandpa, you'll scare her. Looking at my granddaughter-in-law. You objecting? Theodore huffed but softened. Come, child. He beckoned. I obeyed. He studied, then produced a velvet box. An imperial green jade bracelet snapped around my wrist before I could breathe. Welcome gift. Panic, this thing could fund a small country. Too generous, nonsense. His brows crashed together. Sterling wives wear jade. I appealed to Lucas, he simply smiled. Apparently, my protest vote had been overruled by destiny and very persuasive men. He gave me a reassuring smile, then said to Theodore, "Thank you, Grandpa." That was it. He accepted it on my behalf. At lunch, I got a front row seat to the Sterling family's enthusiasm. Eleanor kept piling food onto my plate, first claiming I was too skinny and needed to eat more, then asking if I liked this dish or that. Charles didn't say much, but every so often he wordlessly refilled my soup bowl. Even Theodore, the most intimidating of them all, had the kitchen simmer a personal pot of birdnest soup just for me. I was overwhelmed, every bite eaten perched on the edge of my chair. After the meal, Eleanor towed me to the living room for a chat, firing questions east and west. She grilled me about my job, my family, practically wanting a full ancestral report back 18 generations. My head spun. I could only shoot pleading glances at Lucas while mumbling vague answers. Just then, an ill-timed voice rang out. Well, so this is the bride my big brother snagged. Doesn't look like much. A girl dressed to the nines swanned in from the hall. She resembled Lucy, but her eyes carried an extra scoop of spite and arrogance. It was Lucas's cousin, Sophia. Lucy had warned me, the two cousins had been at war since childhood. Sophia weaponized the family's favor to torment her at every turn. Now it seemed I'd inherited the bullseye. The living room temperature plummeted. Eleanor's expression darkened. Sophia, watch how you speak to your sister-in-law. Am I wrong? Sophia sniffed, sauntering up to me. She looked down her nose. So you're the illustrator? No real job, ordinary background, what on earth does Lucas see in you? Each syllable stabbed like a needle. I clenched my fists, face draining of color. Nothing infuriates me faster than someone dismissing my work and my roots from a pedestal. I opened my mouth to fire back, but Lucas rose first. He stepped to my side, pulled me into his arms, and stared at Sophia with arctic calm. Sophia, he warned, voice like cracked ice, who gave you permission to speak to my wife like that? Sophia flinched under his glare yet lifted her chin defiantly. I'm only telling the truth. She's not good enough for you. Whether she's good enough is my call, not yours. His gaze frosted over. My wife is none of your business. He paused, letting his eyes sweep the room, then announced in ringing tones, Lily is the person I intend to spend my life with. I love her, her family, her job, none of that changes a thing. From now on, Anyone who disrespects her is disrespecting me. His voice wasn't loud, but it cracked like a gavel. No one dared breathe. Nested against his chest, I heard his heart pound, felt its heat, and my eyes stung instantly. He'd declared me his forever. He'd said he loved me. In front of everyone, he'd offered the stanchest defense and the most public promise. In that instant, every doubt, fear, and stray insecurity evaporated. I stared at his resolute profile, a clear voice in my head declaring, "Lily, you're done for. You've totally fallen for this man." The gathering limped to an awkward close, but for me it wrapped in absolute safety. Sophia's face blanched. After Lucas's statement, she didn't dare utter another syllable. The elders said nothing explicit, yet the resigned fondness in their eyes told me they accepted me, or at least accepted Lucas's choice. The ride home was quiet. I kept my face to the window, neon rivers of city light streaming past. My heart refused to settle. Lucas's sentence replayed on loop, "Lily is the person I intend to spend my life with." My heart floated in warm water, soft and weightless. "What are you thinking?" Lucas finally asked. "Nothing." I turned back, avoiding his gaze. Still mad about Sophia? I shook my head. Honestly, her barbs had lost their sting. Lucas's defense armored me. Gossip couldn't dent that plating. "Then, what you said at lunch?" I hesitated, but curiosity won. Was it just for the audience? I knew I shouldn't ask. Our marriage had started as silent theater. Yet I craved an answer. The car halted at a red light. Lucas looked at me, eyes luminous in the dim cabin. "What do you think?" he countered. My pulse lurched. "I don't know." He leaned as far as the seatbelt allowed, brushing my cheek with calloused fingertips. "Lily," he murmured, every word was true. The light turned green, he released me and drove on. I sat frozen. Every word true? He actually loved me? Wanted forever? The realization rippled outward like stones in a pond. Back home I drifted, dazed, while Lucas showered. I had to know, was Luce's tale of his secret crush real? Had he liked me since college? Curiosity clawed me upright. I slipped into the home study, rarely breached territory. Floor-to-ceiling shelves groaned under finance tomes, dry, imposing. I drifted until one locked drawer screamed contradiction. Woman's intuition, secrets inside. I knelt, tugged, locked. A paperclip glinted on the desk. "Pick it." The notion shocked me. "Lily, that's invasion of privacy. Yet, we're married. Privacy should be mutual, right?" Lame justification accepted, I straightened the clip and prodded the tumblers. TV made this look easy. After clumsy wiggling, click, the lock surrendered. I glanced over my shoulder, heard the shower still running, and slid the drawer open. No contracts, no scandals, only an old sketchbook, edges worn. I lifted it like fragile china. Brown craft cover, soft with age. I opened to the first page and forgot how to breathe. A girl's profile in simple ponytail, wisps fluttering, head bowed over a book, a faint smile catching sunlight through leaves. It was me, sophomore year me. Page 2, me mid-debate, eyes blazing. 3, me drooling on a library desk. 4, me and Lucy battling for the last sweet and sour rib, claws out. Every page, me. Laughing, sulking, focused, goofy, each dated from sophomore year to graduation. Tiny captions scattered underneath. White sundress today, angelic. Debate champ, she glowed. She dated someone, hurts. If he hurts her, I'll punch him. Graduation, headed south, away from that jerk. Good. Tears blurred every line. So it was all true. Someone had watched, recorded, safeguarded every unnoticed moment. This book was his silent, sprawling confession. I hugged it to my chest and sobbed. When the water shut off, I jolted. Frantically, I wiped my face and tried to shove the sketchbook back. Too late. Lucas emerged, towel around his hips, hair damp, then froze, spotting me in the doorway, clutching his secret, cheeks streaked. His expression cycled, shock, guilt, panic. "You," he started, but words failed. Silence ballooned. I stood, walked to him, tears refilling. Lucas, I whispered, why me? He thumbed away my tears as though I were breakable. No reason. Voice rough, he continued, the second I saw you, I knew. After that, no one else existed. With the sketchbook out, the last veil between us disintegrated. Lucas stopped cloaking his feelings. I stopped pretending he was merely a business partner. We stepped into new territory. He launched an open, unabashed courtship. Each morning began with a morning kiss, each night ended with a goodnight kiss. He took me to movies, symphonies, galleries. My casual comments became commandments. Mention a bakery's strawberry tart, next day we were seated there. Wish aloud for a retrospective, tickets appeared. He pampered me like royalty. And I, surrounded by such lavish affection, surrendered piece by piece. I returned his kisses, reached for his hand, carried steaming tea to his desk. We were every cliché of new love, sticky sweet. Only problem, a lingering stage fright. We'd leapt from contract spouses to passionate lovers with no warm-up lap. Sometimes the fairy tale felt too fragile, certain to pop. Lucas sensed my hesitation. He never pressed. He simply wrapped me in gentler patience until an uninvited guest forced my heart to choose. That afternoon I was painting in the art studio when Lucas's assistant rang. An essential corporate gala required my presence as his +1. I dislike such circuses, but the earnest plea, this deal mattered, won me over. Evening came. Lucas collected me, bearing a black off-shoulder gown, elegant, faintly daring. Too much. I fretted at the mirror. Not at all. He nuzzled my ear. My wife outshines the room. Curse the man, compliments now rolled off his tongue. Venue, a 5-star rooftop ballroom, crystal, champagne, couture. On his arm, I felt every gaze glued to us. Isn't that Lucas? Who's the woman? Didn't know he married. Vault-level secrecy, they look unreal together. The whispers tightened my throat, my palms sweated. Lucas squeezed my hand. Stay with me. He glided us through clusters of tycoons, introducing me with unmistakable pride. This is my wife, Lily. Each utterance of wife sent fizzy bubbles through my veins. I began to enjoy being shown off until red stilettos clicked our way. Crimson bodycon dress, curves on deliberate display, chin, lethal smile loaded. Sterling, long time. Her voice dripped honey. Lucas's brow twitched. Chin. And this little rose. She eyeballed me, hostility undisguised. My wife, Lily. He tucked me closer. Wife. She laughed, shrill. Funny, I never received the announcement. Condescension sparked my temper. We didn't realize we needed your RSVP, I shot back. Her grin faltered. Lucas's lips twitched appreciatively. Feisty, she cooed, scanning me. But youth rarely learns manners. Sterling, some friends wish to discuss the new project, shall we? She actually reached for his arm, treating me as decor. My vision reddened. Before my brain voted, my body acted. I slid between them, laced my arm through Lucas's, and flashed a sugar-sweet smile. Sorry, Chin, I chirped. My husband isn't used to physical contact with women who aren't me. My voice wasn't loud, but everyone nearby heard every syllable. Chin's face went traffic light green. The arm looped through mine, Lucas's, turned to marble. Then I felt every muscle in that forearm flex. My heart bang-banged against my ribs. Did I just overstep? Would he think I was dramatic, petty, an embarrassment? I sneaked a microglance sideways. Instead of annoyance, I met eyes so bright they almost sparked. And a curve at the corner of his mouth he couldn't flatten. His, smiling. He actually looks delighted. Exactly, Lucas cleared his throat, choking the laugh down to a professional rumble. Then, deadpan to Chin, my wife keeps a tight leash. Hope you understand. He even patted the back of my hand still tucked in the crook of his elbow, an intimate, deliberate little gesture that drove the knife deeper. Chin's color cycled from lime to cyan to bruise purple, a living mood ring. She obviously hadn't expected a public 1-2 punch from the brand new Sterlings. You, both of words failed her. If there's nothing else, we'll excuse ourselves. Lucas didn't spare her another microwatt of attention, simply slid his hand to my waist and steered us away. Several strides later, I could still feel the poison-tipped daggers she was glaring between my shoulder blades. A fizzy, primal satisfaction bubbled up inside me, totally unfamiliar. So this is what get jealous tastes like. Defending your territory feels this good. Sterling, Lucas murmured, lips grazing my ear, you were magnificent. The praise made me squirm and glow at the same time. Who was she, anyway? I whispered back. Daughter of a supplier. Persistent infatuation. He shrugged it off. Forget her. Okay. I nodded, and the last sour droplet evaporated. What? He angled a playful look down at me. Jealous? Not even close. Sure. He leaned in until our noses almost brushed, eyes dancing. Because I'm catching a strong whiff of vinegar. Stop it. I felt my cheeks ignite and pinched his side. He let me, laughing softly, and guided me out onto the rooftop terrace. The night breeze carried the chill of early fall. He slipped off his tux jacket and draped it over my shoulders, warm from his body, scented with cedar and him. Lily. All teasing had left his voice. I tilted my head. Moonlight poured into his eyes, turning them into dark, bottomless water. I'm happy. About what? That you wanted to stake your claim. He folded me in, chin resting on my hair. Makes me feel, truly yours. I listened to the steady drum of his heart against my ear, and the last floating shard of unreality melted. He's insecure too. He needs proof from me as much as I need it from him. We're equals. I wrapped my arms around him and buried my face in his shirt front. Lucas, I mumbled, I think I really like you. The instant the words left my mouth, I wanted to disappear into his jacket lining. Shame level, nuclear. First confession in my entire life, and it had to be this obvious. Lucas went rigid. Seconds later he tipped my chin up, palms bracketing my face, forcing me to meet eyes that were shocked, elated, almost frightened. Say that again, he rasped. Good lines don't repeat, I muttered, mortified. You will repeat it. His fingers tightened gently. Now. Cornered, I squeezed my eyes shut and yelled, I like you, okay? Lucas, I like you. Silence. I risked one eye. His own were glassy. His tearing up. Seriously? Before I could process, he crushed his mouth to mine. Not a polite kiss, an invasion, grateful and frantic and possessive all at once. My head spun, my knees liquefied. I clung to his shoulders like a life raft. Wind whipped my dress around our legs while his arms became the only solid thing in the universe. When he finally released me, we were both breathless, foreheads pressed together. I love you too, he said, voice shredded. 4 years. Longer than you know. Words felt too small after that. We stood locked together under indifferent stars until the city lights blurred. From that night, the dial flipped from newlyweds to joined at the hip. Lucas started clearing his evenings, showing up with takeout, critiquing my sketches while secretly bragging about them on social media. We bickered over cereal brands like any other couple. He introduced me to every friend as the woman I chased half a decade, and when they whooped for a kiss, he delivered deep, unapologetic, until I stopped blushing and started anticipating. One afternoon, a nightmare client tried to stiff me on final payment after 18 rounds of revisions. Lucas dialed, spoke 2 calm sentences, and 30 minutes later my phone dinged with the full amount plus a nuisance fee. The same client called to apologize, voice quivering. I gaped. What did you do? Explained economics, he said, wiping my mascara smudges. Sterling style. Another week I fried my immune system finishing a rush job and woke up fever delirious. Lucas cancelled 3 board meetings, parked himself at my bedside, and fed me alternating sips of water and childhood stories until the fever broke. At 3 a.m. I drifted into a dream where I was 5 and searching for Mom. His baritone kept repeating, I'm right here, baby, I've got you. When the thermometer finally read normal, I found him slumped over the mattress edge, my hand still caged in his. I shifted, he jerked awake, immediately checking my temperature. You slept at all? I croaked. He shrugged, beard shadow stark against tired skin. You're what matters. I dragged him down beside me and hugged him until my eyes prickled. Convalescence had an upside, it clarified what I wanted. The next night I waited in champagne silk lingerie, room lit by a single amber lamp, a glass of red ready. Lucas emerged from the bathroom, towel low on his hips, and stopped dead. "Drink," I ordered, handing him the glass. He downed it, eyes never leaving mine. I crooked a finger, pulled his head down, and kissed him, clumsy, eager, decisive. When I broke away, I whispered against his lips, "Show me what a husband is for." Something predatory ignited behind his pupils. "You sure?" The words scraped out. I traced the sharp line of his cheekbone. "I love you. I'm sure." That was the last coherent sentence for a long while. Later, limbs tangled, heartbeat sinking, he brushed kisses across my hairline. "Sore," he murmured. I burrowed into his damp chest. "Worth it." He laughed softly, went to run a warm bath, and carried me in as if I were bone china. Back under the sheets he tucked me against him. "Now you know," he teased. I pinched his hip. "Permanent gag order." He kissed my fingertips. "Fine. Reinforcement classes start tomorrow." I hid my flaming face in the hollow of his shoulder and slept harder than I ever had. Weekends acquired a new ritual. Sunlight slid through gauze curtains, the aroma of coffee and cinnamon led me to the kitchen where Riverdale's most feared CEO stood in a ruffled apron flipping heart-shaped pancakes. I hugged him from behind, cheek to the planes of his back. Getting domestic, Sterling. He flipped the last pancake, turned, and rested his chin on my head. "Gotta keep demonstrating utility, or my wife might publish another thesis on male redundancy." I thumped his ribcage, he caught my fist, kissed my knuckles, voice dropping to velvet, not jealousy, gratitude. "That I walked back into your life in time." Gratitude. One word that held years of secret sketches, a whirlwind marriage, and every sunrise still to come. "I'm grateful too." I rose on my toes to meet his lips. "That the man who fell from the sky was you." Sunlight pooled on the hardwood, the day stretching ahead like a blank canvas waiting for two signatures. Question: what is a husband, a wife, for? Answer: to love, to amplify, to spend the rest of our lives finishing each other's sentences. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed today's story, like, share, and drop us a comment. Don't forget to subscribe for more. See you next time.